It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Hello, this is Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm the founder of happyfamilies.com.
Do you have to shout?
Kylie had a big night last night. I'm here with Kylie, my wife and mum to our 6 kids. She's not doing so well.
It was such a big night. I watched about a bajillion high schoolers sing and dance for way too long.
They do this stuff late, don't they?
I don't know how they stay up because I couldn't.
Today, you are going to get through this. You are going to be strong. Right. I believe in you. Our conversation today is this week in parenting.
I am a little bit concerned.
What are you concerned about?
Justin, about where you're getting your parenting advice from lately. Because I walked in the other day to the office and I heard you listening to Kim Kardashian give parenting advice.
Parenting is the thing that has taught me the most about myself. It has been the most challenging thing. There are nights I cry myself to sleep, like what just happened, with all the moods and the personalities, and sometimes they're fighting and there's no one there. Like it's me to play good cop and bad cop. So like that is definitely a challenge when, something I'm working on is being a little bit firmer, There's nothing that can prepare you. Any person that says, oh, we're waiting to have X amount of money in the bank. Oh, we're waiting to have a home before we have kids. Oh, I'm waiting for this job to come in before we have kids. I don't care how long you wait. I don't care what you're waiting for. You are never prepared.
The wisdom of the guru, Kim Kardashian.
I just want to know.
Right.
You don't even like the Kardashians. What were you doing listening to her?
I was just looking around at what was in the news about parenting. I mean, okay, she's not exactly telling us anything fascinating or deep or incredible. I just wanted to hear what she was going to say. And I thought, you can never be prepared. And the emotions. And so I love the line, sometimes I cry myself to sleep. And I'm thinking, is it about parenting or is this just you? Because she lives such a hard life. I have a thing about the Kardashians, right? I mean, I just can't stand any of it. But I don't know. I saw a little bit of humanity in KK as I listened to what she had to say about raising kids.
I think what stands out to me, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
I can't believe you're giving commentary on Kim Kardashian either.
Parenting is just the perfect leveler.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter what your job is. It doesn't matter how old you are. Parenting is just hard.
There's emotions and you cry yourself to sleep and you learn about yourself and you can never be prepared. Look at me. I've just become Kim Kardashian. Can we talk about some real parenting?
I was going to ask, is there anything of substance in today's episode?
Yes, we need to talk once more about parental guidance.
Gentle parenting is about letting children be children and respecting them as people.
It seems that the gentle parents, Larissa and Marcus, have been under fire on social media, and Kelly Scott has written a really nice article on the ABC website, ABC Everyday. Perspective from Kelly Scott. Parental guidance viewers are slamming gentle parenting, she says, and I'm confused. Kylie, as you watched Larissa and Marcus, our gentle parents, what was your experience as you considered what challenges they went through and the experience that they had on the show?
Well, I've seen some of the not so nice comments on social media, and I can imagine that what we're dealing with is people who feel like they're probably quite permissive in the way they interact with their kids. I saw comments about the kids, not acting their age. They were quite immature and things like that. And for me, watching the show and even last season with our attachment parents, I felt the same way, that they're in some ways at such a disadvantage to the rest of the other parenting styles because it is based on dealing with our children's emotions as they come and being supportive of their needs as they arise.
Right. And so what you're saying is a lot of parenting styles are about getting a quick fix response, instant compliance, whereas the gentle parents, the attachment style that we saw in season 1 as well, is more about saying you're having an emotional moment and we're just going to allow you to experience the emotion. And it doesn't look pretty, does it?
It doesn't, and especially with young kids.
It doesn't look tidy at all.
Very messy, and it looks like the children at times are ruling the roost.
This is what Kelly Scott had to say in her perspective piece in ABC Every Day. She said, I've seen commenters accusing the parents of raising, quote, self-centered snowflakes, close quote, or admonishing children for needing to be disciplined, to be prepared for the real world. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. She has actually just shared the polite ones because there was some pretty horrible stuff that was said out there. And here's what she adds in this piece, and we will link to this in the show notes. It's so important. She says some of the participants on the show, along with the viewers, have slammed the gentle parents for their softer techniques, making statements like the children have no respect for their mum or dad. I get a quick quote here. Co-host Justin Coulson, an Australian parenting expert, responded to the flack they've received. Dr. Coulson wrote on Facebook that critics don't understand that it's a long game of building a relationship of trust that invests in the child's future. He also writes that very few parenting styles, like those featured on the show, are backed by science. But we know that aspects of gentle parenting are. And then she shares this research. Have a listen to this. For example, a study of more than 1,000 pairs of children and mothers found children whose mothers responded with sensitivity in the first 3 years of life had better social skills at age 15 and also performed better academically.
I have 2 thoughts on this. The first, why are we in such a hurry for our kids to grow up?
Yeah, and what are we so worried about this snowflake thing? Anyway, sorry, what's your other thing?
Why do we have to introduce our kids to the coldness of the world in our own homes in an effort to prepare them for what might happen? I had this really cool experience, and it feels like it's a little bit of a tangent, but it's not. I teach a class for 16 and 17-year-olds at church on a Sunday.
Right.
And I introduce them to Devilish Dilemmas. It's a little card game, and it just gives them this or that. Would you do this or that? The question was, if you had a complete facial muscular malfunction, would you choose to smile for the rest of your life? You could not smile. Or would you choose to not smile forever? What would you choose?
You know me well enough to know exactly what I would choose.
What do you think the kids chose?
I would imagine, you're still talking about 16 and 17-year-olds, I reckon there'd be a 50-50 split. I think some would be very happy to smile, but I can imagine that there would be some stick in the mud to be like, I'm not going to smile. I'm just going to tough it out.
The entire class. Literally, I had 9 kids in the class and every single one of them chose to not smile.
Wow.
They asked me.
For the rest of their lives.
For the rest of their lives, they would choose not to smile. Now, if I had been Dr. Justin Coulson, I would have given them all the psychological research that would tell them why choosing that would have made them absolutely miserable.
I've just had a thought. Your name is Kylie. You had to choose to be Smiley. Smiley Kylie. Is that what you said? Did you say you'd be Smiley?
I did say I would smile.
Kylie. Has anyone ever called you Smiley Kylie?
Yes.
Really?
My nan and pop actually had a dog, and he had 2 teeth that stuck up, so it made him look like he had a smile,
Right.
and they called him Smiley.
Right.
And so, yes, I've been called Smiley Kylie lots.
We've been married for 25 and a half years. I've never called you Smiley.
Well, I'm glad.
Okay, well, I certainly won't start now. But you chose to be Smiley, and what was your rationale? And what's that got to do with gentle parenting and Larissa and Marcus?
I chose to smile, and the comment was, so if your mum died, you would choose to smile? And I just said, you know what? If it's the choice between smiling or not, I'm going to pick smiling every time because I know that I feel better when I smile.
Yes.
But other people feel better. And so if we go back to what we were talking about, why is it that I have to make my kids' world miserable so that they can accept and understand what's going to be out there? Why would I not do everything I can to provide them with an environment that is loving, supportive, and compassionate and help them be the same to the world? Mirror that to the world. Why would I not want that for my kids?
Well, I love what you're saying. And what I also love is that parental guidance is still creating conversations, even a month and a half after it was on TV. The stuff that happened there is so good. You can still see it on 9 Now, by the way. The show is still available, Parental Guidance Season 2 on 9 Now. Kylie, the last thing that I want to talk about today is something that came off TikTok that has blown up. Bajillions of people have watched it, and it involves a little bit of mum shaming, but it is big news. It's incredible how TikTok and social media have actually started to make news. Like, social media is so impactful. But there's this incident that occurred. I'm going to play a 58-second piece that comes from Cat Stickler on TikTok. This piece has generated 57,000 comments. 57,000 comments on TikTok. It has gone absolutely viral and it has made news headlines all over the place. One of the things that I hate about social media and TikTok is that some people don't use their own voice. They use that robot voice, and that's what she's done. She's recorded it, but then had the robot voice do it instead. But let me play what happened if you can deal with the robot voice. And I'm just going to say this, no cake. That's all I'm going to say, no cake.
I'm going to mom shame. Only people I've ever mom shamed are myself and my own mother. But one other mom is going to be added to the list. Actually, I'm not even, this is a question. Am I entitled or was this messed up? 2 hours ago, literally right now, MK and I were at the park in my neighborhood and it was us and this birthday group, right? So literally just us and this birthday group. These kids are having their birthday party. MK's playing with them for half an hour. They're making friends. It was nice. It was actually very cute. Time to sing happy birthday. MK goes over. She's one of the group right now, all right? They're welcoming her with open arms. Or so I thought. I was wrong. Time to eat cake. I see MK. I see her intention of grabbing a piece of cake. So I walk over to make sure it's okay. As a formality, honestly, I was like, obviously it's okay. It's cake. It's a massive cake. There's lots of leftover pieces. The mother takes the plate away from MK and gets down to her level, says, you cannot eat this cake, okay? This is not your birthday party. These are not your friends. Where's your mother?
And that's the piece. So in case that didn't quite make sense because of the weird accent and the robotic voice, you're at the park with your kiddo, toddler, and there's a birthday party happening and your toddler starts hanging out with all the other toddlers and then they sing happy birthday and the cake gets cut and your toddler's still there. And then the mum kneels down in front of your toddler and says, you can't have this cake. This is not your cake. These are not your friends. This is not your party. Where's your mum? Blows up on social media. It makes the news. It's in national headlines everywhere. And yet, as much as I wanted to shake my head and say this Cakegate story is not news, it kind of is. It's definitely parenting news. It's one of those parenting dilemmas that just goes nuts. And it's been in parenting chat groups all over the place. So I want to ask you, do you have an opinion on this? Like when you hear that story, do you want to get involved? Do you just roll your eyes and say, oh, social media, doing social media again? Like what's your response? And in fairness to you, you have not heard this until right now. So I'm really just, as a mum who's raised 6 kids and been in the park in plenty of odd situations, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this. But what's your response?
I'm torn because I actually really hate how social media blows things up and takes things out of context sometimes, and it creates, I want to say hate. There is so much negativity that comes from this, but there's also some really important conversations to be had. So that's where I'm torn because I have watched this play out in different ways over the years, sometimes with our kids, sometimes just as a bystander. And it's heartbreaking. And it kind of goes back to that conversation. Would you rather smile or not smile? It's the same principle. Do I want to be kind to the world and the way I project myself into the world? Or do I want to teach kids that they can't always have what they want? Why? Why? Some of my best friends I made at the park because my kid hung out with their kid for half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, you meet people, you make a difference in the world. And even if it's only for half an hour, I'd rather be that person.
So I've got a really quick hot take on this, and it's as follows. As a parent, when you're in the park and your kids are playing, it's if they start playing with other people's kids, it's usually nice just to say hi to the other parents, even if they're in a group. Just, hey, my little one's playing with yours. Is that okay? I know you guys are having a party. So maybe mum might be a little bit more proactive rather than doing the mum shame on the other parent. Like there is a level of personal responsibility here. And I know it's not always going to work out that way, but I'm just saying it's nice to acknowledge the other people when your kids are playing with their kids. But there's a second element to this as well from my point of view, and that is it's not that hard to be nice to a 3-year-old. And even if she wanted to say, you can't have any of the cake, kiddo, because this is just for everyone who's at the party, the whole idea of these are not your friends, this is not your cake, like you can reject somebody nicely or you can just slam them. And it sounds like this mum's just slammed this kid.
At the end of the day, I don't think we're suggesting that you have to give someone cake if you don't want to give them cake.
No, let them eat cake. Let them eat cake. Come on.
But we can be kind in the way that we exclude.
You can't say that.
No, you can't. No, that's not what I mean.
But you can. You can actually say to somebody, oh, let's just go and check with your mum. Let's take you back to your mum because we're going to do the cake now for everyone who's at the party. Like there are
Well, it's time to go back to mum.
That's right. There are kind and gentle ways to do this. So I think
You know what? Just give her the cake.
let them eat cake. Yeah. What's that whole that saying? My dad used to say to me all the time, "You can't have your cake and eat it too." And I'd be like, "Why not?" Like, I want my cake and I want to eat it. What's the point of having a cake if you don't eat the cake? Anyway, that's This Week in Parenting. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon for Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. I think that the real solution to all of This Week in Parenting stuff is just be nice, just be kind. And remember, as Kim Kardashian says,
You are never prepared.
thank you, Guru Kim. More information about making your family happier. Keeping up with the Kardashians? No, I'm just kidding. At the Happy Families website, happyfamilies.com.au or our Facebook page, Dr. Justin Coulson's Happy Families.